Welcome back to another episode. You've made it back just in time to talk about educational utility. Now, previously I talked about a few topics. I think the last one might have been censorship versus ignorance. Now, ignorance is something that it can often be used out of context because as human beings, we do not have the capacity to know everything. So anything that we do know is a small sliver of what actually exists. So the real question is, which slivers are you actually looking to kind of take in and absorb, and how are you actually able to use them? And wow, that is kind of the big focus for today, educational utility. So what do you do with what you've actually learned? So there are a number of different mindsets, a number of different ways to think about and how to use information. But I wanted to dive a little bit deeper as far as maybe the way most folks actually think about educational utility and what the possibilities actually are. So to start with that, let's talk with this idea of education. Now, we go to school, colleges, universities. That is what we commonly associate with as educational institutions. And when you go, what do you actually get for going, let's say, to a college university? You get a degree. And what does that degree allow you to do? It allows you to get a job. Now, the whole idea of the decision to go to a college university is to increase or improve the ability to earn an income, right? So that is the way most folks typically associate an education. What can it allow you to do at let's say, a different level than you're currently doing now? And a big motivator is, well, will it get me a higher income or salary than I currently have? So going along with that, then there's the real question of, how do you know if an education is actually overpriced? And so you have to dig down a little bit to figure out what the costs actually are. Now, if you're going away to a college university, you have room and board expenses, you have tuition, you have a number of different expenses that are all tied together. And then the real question is, how long are you going to be there for? And what is that total cost going to be? And how are you going to be able to finance that? Now, we're not going to be focused so much on financing today, but on the educational utility component. In other words, for what you do learn, what are you actually going to do with that? And if you're going to be making, let's say, a good decision, you want to make sure that whatever you're actually receiving is more than worth what you're actually going to be able to do with it. Now, going with that, this idea of guarantees, there are none. And that's probably the biggest sobering idea when it comes to education. There are no guarantees. There's no guarantee other than you actually receiving a degree that you'll actually get a job as a result of having a degree. You need something that differentiates you from the competition. So the degree by itself, unfortunately, that's not enough these days. You need something else that makes you stand out from the crowd. So how do you actually stand out from the crowd? Well, how you think is going to be a big factor in how you actually do that. Now, when you look at, let's say, an education, how do different mindsets take in an education? So we're going to look at five roles that I've put together from a capitalist market. You can find more about this at escapethemonopoly.com.